There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged.
I haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro?
Saturday
even
night?
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Davis stunned everyone by slapping Lamont Roach during a heated face-off. The confrontation quickly escalated as Davis boldly stated he's going to break Roach in their upcoming fight. The energy was tense and explosive, with both fighters refusing to back down. This intense moment has only added fuel to their rivalry and set the tone for what could be one of the most aggressive and personal fights of the year. Inside the gym, Gervonta Davis has entered a new zone of mental and physical dedication. Guided once again by trusted coach Calvin Ford, he's sharpening his weapons with silent intensity. This time, however, the dynamics have changed. Unlike their previous preparation, where the Washington, D.C. contingent played a strong role, the current camp is more tight-knit and focused. With fewer outside influences and tighter information security, there's no risk of strategy leaks. The first fight was clouded by speculation, rumors that Roach was tipped off to Davis's approach. That's no longer a concern. The camp has cut off distractions and placed full energy into refinement. With Ford in his corner and eyes locked on redemption, Davis's preparation suggests a fight far greater in scale and stakes than their initial meeting.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy. Who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has generated immense commercial success, reflected in the sale of 150,000 pay-per-view units well before fight night. This level of anticipation underscores the significance of their rivalry and the public's craving for resolution. Fans remember how tense and unpredictable the first fight was, and are eager to see whether Davis can reclaim control or if Roach will once again rise to the moment. The numbers confirm what analysts expected. This rematch is more than a sequel, it's a headlining event. Such figures also signal that both fighters are not just boxers anymore, but central figures in the sport's ongoing narrative.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, face of boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down. Every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else. Especially in Saudi, I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol Better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching him, and Bivol and Better BF do. Tank does not.
Rather than throwing away their original tactics, Davis's team has chosen a smarter route, adjustment over overhaul. Reviewing footage from the first fight revealed that timing was off and mid-round confidence dipped. Now, with that knowledge, the team has retooled specific elements like attack angles and spacing, focusing on closing the gaps that allowed Roach to find success. It's not about creating a new fighter. It's about perfecting the one already in place. They've identified where caution crept in and replaced it with calculated aggression. This revision makes Davis more dangerous, as his foundation stays intact, but his delivery becomes crisper and more decisive.
He got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead. Let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got a fighter that listen, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter is not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of there. It's other shit too. You know? Yeah. You gotta hurt. I believe in hurting them. You can hurt. You gotta hurt them to get it started. You know.
Petey, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, that they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many perceived as a knockdown in their first bout may not have been a true reflection of Davis's vulnerability. Reports have emerged suggesting that the slip was caused by an external irritation, possibly from a grooming product, that affected Davis's vision during the fight. If true, this changes the context significantly. It transforms what looked like a flaw in endurance or technique into an unfortunate and avoidable distraction. For supporters, this reinforces their belief in Davis's skill and toughness. It also adds urgency to his team's preparation, making sure nothing as minor as product residue can derail performance in a high-stakes environment.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he gonna go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont. This from the same camp. We from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia weighed in with thoughtful insight about Davis's chances in the rematch. While praising Davis's natural skill and adaptability, Garcia issued a caution. Technical talent alone won't guarantee victory. In his view, mental discipline will be the real test. The distractions outside the ring, public scrutiny, personal matters, and pressure must be shut out. Garcia believes Davis has the tools to win, but only if his mind is aligned with his body. In short, the rematch won't just test technique but psychological resilience. It's a complete challenge, one that will demand unwavering focus.
I'll let you go because I know you got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. Looks like it's going to happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, and maybe they get a third fight, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns out Marcus back out.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the first fight with Roach, social media buzzed with theories about Davis stepping away from the sport. But instead of retreating, Davis made a clear statement by jumping straight back into camp. He didn't wait for narratives to form. He silenced them by choosing action over speculation. His decision to schedule a rematch so quickly revealed something essential about his character. He's not running from the past, but charging at it. This mindset has reshaped the storyline. Davis isn't fading into uncertainty. He's rewriting his own ending with determination and purpose.
I just want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit, both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be down, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving them they props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight. And I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. Not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see it.
Boxing veteran and commentator Teddy Atlas recently provided a more nuanced view of Davis's arsenal. While most focus on his power and highlight reel finishes, Atlas pointed to the less flashy but equally critical traits: his sense of distance, his rhythm, and his ability to stay calm under pressure. According to Atlas, what separates Davis from the rest is how he thinks in the ring. He doesn't rush or react blindly. He calculates. When pressure builds, his emotions remain steady, allowing him to respond with sharp timing and control. These mental tools make Davis not just strong, but dangerous in the moments that matter most.
He's going to try to get to us, but we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. A lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps, inch by inch, step by step, and then he gets to you.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith added his voice to the discussion, focusing on a key mismatch between the two fighters: physical presence. While Roach has excellent technique and ring IQ, Smith believes that the sheer physicality of Davis presents a challenge Roach may not be able to overcome. Davis's strength, reach, and body control could make Roach's skills less effective, especially if the fight becomes gritty and close-quartered. Smith's take suggests that sometimes fights aren't won with precision alone, but with pressure, power, and physical dominance.
And lastly, Stephen A., last name I, of course, want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small. I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that, but it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, ooh, making this up. He hurt me in sparring and, and I knew Gervonta was going to come for him. And sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But I remember what he said and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro. And he said you really, really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really, really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
In his latest training camp, Davis is operating with a chip on his shoulder. The rematch represents more than just revenge. It's a battle to reaffirm his standing in boxing. He's channeling every critique and every doubt into fuel, doubling down on strength, speed, and stamina. Each workout, each sparring session is being approached with intensity. The goal isn't just to win, it's to dominate, to show that the slip in the first bout was a one-time event, not a sign of decline. Davis is preparing like a fighter with something to prove, and that makes him more dangerous than ever.
Like, got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning. Like when he was with Floyd, like I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got like, a little bit more in the boxing, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this before.
To elevate his preparation even further, Davis has enlisted the help of Kenny Ellis, a trainer known for his disciplined methods and tactical insight. Ellis doesn't allow complacency. Every drill is purposeful, every correction immediate. His sessions are structured, intense, and designed to expose weaknesses before opponents can. Under Ellis's watch, Davis is refining the smallest details: footwork, guard transitions, counter timing. This isn't just physical work, it's strategic grooming. Ellis will be in the corner on fight night, ready to make split-second adjustments. With him in place, Davis's corner becomes not just supportive, but surgical.
He's one of the best trainers in boxing, second guy in the corner. Is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table. And he says that Lamont Roach is, we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. He says what most people say. hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots landing.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.